there's an old saying that says, if it is to be, it's up to me. And to me, that indicates that success and drive and ambition and education and all of those positive factors that can influence one's life is primarily up to that individual. And so when I ran across this book called Bet on Yourself, I began to wonder. I said, I wonder if this guy was the one who coined that phrase, if it is to be, it's up to me. But I realized that the phrase has been in existence for at least 100 years, so it's not that individual. Be that as it may, I'm happy today to have with me Dr. Vernard Hodges, a young man that's pretty much local from the area who really has published a book, and he has done a lot of other things too. But, you know, I'm really, really impressed. Let me tell you why. You know, I really believe very strongly in brothers, young men, young black men, because, you know, I believe in all men, so don't y'all be throwing no eggs at me, you know. But my point is that when you examine statistics, one will find that the African American males are at the bottom of the pack in almost any given area. So, you know, I think that's not right. And I think our young people deserve better. I think the girls deserve better because they need somebody to marry.
No doubt.
Right. And I think the boys deserve better because they can do what they want to do or be what they want to do if they really try. So, in my opinion, you know, this publication, this book, is very timely because not only is it something that's going to make Dr. Vernard Hodges $1 million, but see what the subtitle says? From zero to millions. But it's also something that's going to serve a purpose in trying to influence and motivate our young people. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Habersham, interviewing with me today Dr. Vernard, V as in Victor, Vernard Hodges, who's a veterinarian.
I am.
Not only is he an author, but he's also a veterinarian. And we're going to begin, you know, just talk about yourself, you know, to the extent that some of these young brothers out here can kind of get a feel where you were and how you overcame.
No doubt. So I'm Vernard Hodges, and like Mr. Habersham said, I'm a veterinarian, but I just consider myself a Renaissance man. I like to dibble and dabble in quite a few things. I'm a native of Fort Valley, Georgia. Grew up, my first job was picking peaches in the peach field for 70 cents an hour. You know, I didn't quite get it. A lot of my friends didn't quite get it because we didn't have somebody to reach back and tell us. You know, unfortunately, a lot of my friends kind of fell to the wayside, and you know, and probably weekly I get a call from some of my friends who kind of took the wrong path and they're incarcerated right now. But I still love them. I still talk to them, and hopefully, you know, when they get out, I can teach them different things. You know, but the biggest thing is just believing in yourself, believing that it's possible. Because growing up, we just didn't think it was possible.
So you had to have that belief. So
you had to have that belief.
You went from the peach field to?
I went from the peach field to owning $5, $6, $7 million worth of real estate. I own, I think at last count, maybe 100 houses and apartment buildings. I went to owning my own veterinary hospitals. I employ 20, 25 people. I wanted to author because I wanted to share my blueprint. Because, you know, without reaching back, then, you know, it's a life wasted.
Right.
So I want everybody to be able to reach back or at least come and see my blueprint, enhance it, and hopefully we'll see another African-American man write a book, Zero to Billions.
Yeah. So now, what made you decide to write this book?
Well, I sat around and I wanted to kind of give an inspiration. I wanted to document, because oftentimes it's very hard to be transparent because we're always trying to impress people, you know. Us males, like you say, we have these egos. We want to always feel like we're the biggest, baddest. But I want to show people that, you know, unfortunately, because I didn't know these things, I actually failed the ninth grade. You know, in the ninth grade, I saw that report card, couldn't believe it. I didn't pass, but that didn't stop me. I kept building, and I ended up going to one of the most prestigious veterinary schools in the country. A lot of people don't know this, but there are only 32 veterinary schools in the United States. Very competitive. The average GPA to get in there is a 3.7. So you have to do different things to make it. Mine, you know, I didn't have the greatest grades. I was a little on the bubble, but I did other things that set me apart. I ended up working for the Agency for International Development in college, and I went and fed a village in Nepal, which is a country next to India. Went there, and what we did, we had a carp. We grew carp, and we fed the whole village because, unfortunately, they don't eat the proteins or the food to eat with. So those are some of the things I did.
When you say a carp, what do you mean?
Like carp, the fish. So what we did, carp, yes, sir. So what we did, we had phytoplankton. We grew carp and different things in baskets, and as a protein source, and it was cheap. So that's kind of how we did it.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's really outstanding. Now let me ask you this. So now you fail ninth grade. Talk about yourself after ninth grade.
Okay.
Because I think it's really, Doc. I think it's phenomenal, really. But see, it's not necessarily how many houses you own or how
right.
many.
Yeah,
I know that. But how many hospitals you got? It's the fact that a young black man can go from picking peaches to failing the ninth grade to becoming a highly successful businessman. And we're going to talk about your community input in a minute. So let's just talk a little bit about that process. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
It may be some young men out there who have hit a bump.
Right.
And I think your word to them is that should not necessarily be discouraging.
Just get back up.
Yeah.
That's the key. All of us get knocked down. None of us are perfect. It's about getting back up. Like you say, in the ninth grade, I figured out, hey, boy, you better straighten up. Or you being uneducated and no career, it was a life that was headed the wrong direction. But I had some good mentors. I had, like you say, in the black community, we have people who can pick you up. I have there was like the Middle Georgia Consortium, as a matter of fact, once I got to high school, because I was going to the military. I had signed the papers. So, and I talk about that in the book. I signed the paper. The Middle Georgia Consortium said that if you want to try college, they'll pay for it the first year, the first semester. So I was like, I can't lose anything. So I enrolled at Fort Valley. And two things I learned in Fort Valley: one, I could do the work, and two, there were some very pretty girls.
Oh yeah.
So that made me say, okay, I want to start. I want to stay in college. So staying in college was definitely on the radar. So, and once I figured out and started believing in myself, the sky was the limit.
And I think therein lies the reason for the title, Bet on Yourself.
Bet on Yourself.
So walk us through the book. Walk us through the book.
Okay. The book kind of starts with, it kind of lays the foundation. My first sentence is, I failed in ninth grade. Because I want people to see, because everybody sees the title 0 to Millions and they think, wow, but it's a whole lot in between. So it kind of talks about my childhood, some of the things, the things I had to deal with. I mentioned walking through my old hardware store a few years ago. Downtown Fort Valley, I had to get something from my mom, and how some of the indignities that I faced, being followed around the store as though I would steal something,
right.
and doing these things, and I'm thinking, and I say it in my thing, and I think to myself, thank God I'm not the guy I used to be, because if I wanted, I could buy the whole damn store. Right. But those kind of things. It talks about being in a separate prom. A lot of young people don't understand what it's like, the indignities of you having a black prom or white prom. Those are the things that kind of didn't make me feel as equal. As I transferred and go up from high school, and then I can say the consortium, I got in college, thank God. I joined the fraternity. You know very well the Omega Psi Phi fraternity.
Yeah.
That was instrumental in my growth, being around some positive end. Going off to, like I say, summer programs. I went to Nepal. I went to University of Missouri. I was able to see things, and I was able to use it as a measuring rod. And I found that I measured up. And I was fortunate enough to get in Tuskegee University School of Veterinary Medicine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was definitely
HBCU.
HBCU is the only HBCU veterinary school in the United States of America.
Right.
I studied there, and after finishing, I got out and I worked for actually African American veterinarian, Dr. Corker. So I was able to, and he wrote my letter, so I was able to keep that lineage going. Once graduating and worked for Dr. Corker for a while, I decided to hang out my own shingles. We started out in Byron, Georgia. Everything went very well. But I knew there was growth on the south side of Warner Robins. So I decided, okay, let's go to Bonaire, right outside of Warner Robins. And, everything boomed. Fortunately, I was able to open a third one about a year and a half ago on Russell Parkway. It's called a veterinary emergency clinic. And so it serves an area south from Atlanta, probably south to Valdosta. So what it does is in 24 hours emergency. So we have four for an animal. For an animal. So
wow.
If something happens in the middle of the night, instead of me having to go in, there's a service there. Somebody's always there, and they're ready to take care of your pet emergency. With that, I also learned real estate. I always think find you a hustle, and then find you another hustle, right? And get good at that hustle.
You call that a pair and a spare.
There you go. Exactly. So you gotta have a hustle. So after that, I started out with a single family home. One of my friends he needed someone to stay, so I was like, okay. I allowed him to come in, and he did. I bought my first house. It's all about knowing what to do, because the second house was a tragedy. I ended up buying a place actually on Houston Avenue. Yeah,
in Macon?
In Macon.
Bless y'all.
I didn't know any better. So it's all about knowing. I didn't know any better. I got burned pretty good, but that's okay. That was a life lesson, because without lessons, and the failures, you can't enjoy or pick up the success. So after that, I ended up going and buying a couple more houses down in Warner Robins, and they worked out pretty well. And then I was able to keep going. I have and it talks about in the book. I call it the BRRR: buy, repair, rent, refinance. And you just use that to kind of keep building. And I was able to build up into a 50-unit apartment complex last summer. So
okay.
So it just talks about my, and we'll talk about, I guess, if you want to talk about it now, I was able to do a foundation as well.
You can talk about that in the
Okay, we'll talk about that.
I'm just sitting here, but
we'll talk about
this
that.
your show.
It's
This
my
your show. Yeah.
But beyond that, you got to understand that life is not all about you. It's all about the people that you surround yourself with, because you got to have a good circle and a good foundation, and you got to have somebody coming behind. So about 10 years ago, I started Dr. Hodges. It Takes a Village Foundation. And with that foundation, what we do is we take a group of kids, each class, and we teach them about business. We give them a business finance, give them a program to follow, and let them come up with a business idea. And we follow them, like each Saturday we'll spend time with them. And if they come up with a viable business, the big thing is we finance that business. I've had everything.
Have you financed it?
I have. I financed about 7. Some are lawn, some are simple like car washes. But I've had a couple kids who come up with apps, and we was able to finance. Yeah, so they come with apps, so we help them finance. So all the proceeds go to them. I just want to see the entrepreneurs in the spirit to go there, because especially as African Americans, we want to start a business. Who do we go to? And so I've been fortunate enough to be led at the table to learn these different things. So I want to be like Robin Hood and give it back.
Yeah. That's very, very outstanding. So what other kind of community activities are you involved in? And let me tell you why.
Yes.
Because this says bet on yourself.
Yes.
But part of betting on yourself, and you've already expressed it, is spreading yourself into the community. Mm-hmm. That it's not all about
it's
yourself.
It's not all about me. No.
So what else do you do?
Through I also remember 100 Black Men. So we're always giving back. We're always at different events and different things. Even with I guess we just found it, and I'm spending time at the Macon Little League. Trying to get kids into the baseball thing. Also back home in Fort Valley. there are at least 3 events that I personally sponsor in Fort Valley that gives back to community through the feed center. We actually go out and we feed the homeless, and we go out and we do this consistently. We go out into different homes. Also, we provide medical care. I'm not a physician, but I'm part of the group and I'm on the board at the feed center. So what we do is we help find medical care and also dental care for the people of Fort Valley. I'm a big lover of Fort Valley. I know we're in Macon. I love Macon as well, but I love going back home because my hometown.
You
honestly,
can't forget your roots,
you
man.
can't forget your roots because when I go back, it's nothing but love.
Yeah,
nothing but love.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about, you've been busy lately, man.
I'm busy.
I mean,
I've been
you've been to book signings and activities, and talk a little bit about, what you've been doing.
Oh, yeah, a lot of book signings. It was an honor to go back. Last week I did a book signing in Fort Valley. It was huge. I mean, it was very emotional because, first of all, the librarian came to me like I was somebody. She was talking to me, right? So I'm thinking of you talking about me. She's like, it's an honor to meet you. I say, ma'am, this is me. But when she handed me these books that had stamped the Hunt Library on them, and she said they were cataloged and they would be there for an eternity, forever. So
talking about your book.
My book.
Yeah.
When my book was cataloged and put in the Fort Valley State Library, that was emotional. That I couldn't stop the tears from coming because that's a big thing. I couldn't imagine, the library I used to study
going from that peach field,
going from the peach field
to the library,
to being in the library as my book is there for people to check out. And it was huge. It was huge. It was a lot of college students, and a lot of them came up after me, and they gave me their story. It was touching. It's not like when you go back home. When you go back home and you get love, it's just an amazing feeling. Like I say, from now on, forever, my book will be in the Fort Valley Library and be able to check out, and that's pretty strong.
Now you've done other book signings.
I've done several. I did a big book release at Barrington Hall. It was packed. I think I signed over 200-300 books at that sitting. I've at work, it's fine. I guess it's been a grassroots thing because people been finding out. A lot of clients, will you please sign my books? I'm trying to see dogs in between signing books, So I'm getting that. I am flying to. That's why I was thinking about the cherry blossom. I hate I'm gonna miss that last weekend because actually I've been invited to. So I have to talk a little bit about the book and do a book signing in New York. So the country boy is actually going to the city.
Oh wow!
Many speaking engagements, just Rotary, Kiwanis, and I think every school in Middle Georgia. It seems like every day I get a call from Middle Georgia to come speak. So I think every day this week, as a matter of fact, I'll be at a different school, elementary or high school, to just speak. But the biggest thing is just to share my story and for them to see this black man who sat in this same seat, and they can see it's very tangible. They can see, and when they talk to me, they realize that I'm not quite the intellect that Mr. Allen Haversham is, but but I can relate.
Your book says 0 to millions. Mine says 0 to 100. So.
That's okay. So it's really cool to see the tangible things that they can see and the look in their eyes. Because I've sat in that seat, and when they look at me, matter of fact, I was in the Boys and Girls Club last week and talking to those kids. I mean, these are the same kids that grew up the way I grew up with. Not having a whole lot. It's just been an amazing feature. It's been a great ride.
That's so outstanding. Talk a little bit about family. I was at the Fort Valley not too long ago at one of the might have been homecoming, and I was in the president's box. So were you. And then I just saw how your reaction, and I noticed it. And there's a point to this story. And I noticed how you reacted with, was that your mother?
That was my mother.
With your mother, and I've also seen you interact with your son.
Right.
And the moral of that story is that you're always making an impression on somebody.
Right.
And I thought it was very, very noteworthy the way you just kind of took care of your mama. Matter of fact, you spoke to me, but you said hello, on your way, to see about your mama.
She was at all my books, and I mean, she's just been inspirational. I mean, she's just a strong black woman, and she, no matter what, she always encouraged me. When I told Mom I'm gonna write a book, she said, "Boy, you gonna write the best book ever."
That's encouragement from jump.
That's what she said from jump. She gave me an encouragement. I didn't know if I was gonna sell 5 books or 5,000 books or whatever, but she was like, "Look, so how can my mom? My mom is a strong black woman, and she instilled that in me. I've never met my fraternal father. I wouldn't know what he looks like.
Wow.
If he was in this room." But that's okay. I mean, but I make sure my son knows that he is my hero. He has the it factor. I wish I was as smart as him. I mean, he's going to do very well. He's in the Duke program. He goes to the college. He's made over 1,200 on the SAT.
How old is he?
He's 13.
Wow.
So he he's going to college again this summer. I think he'll be at Wake Forest. He does very well.
Let's draw an analogy here.
Yes.
Because we got 2 situations that I want you to talk about.
Right.
We can talk about how a person may not have a father, but the importance of having role models.
Correct.
Somebody to look up to. Then we can talk also, you can talk also about being a father and the role that one should play in his children's lives.
Right. Exactly. Not having a father, a lot of those things I had to find a mentorship, especially from somewhere. Like I said, I didn't care. I mean, if you saw me at 13, which maybe right around time I failed, people would think, man, this dude doesn't have a chance. I mean, statistically, I had no chance. I mean, I'm poor. I'm in theory not very smart. I'm growing up in a small town. I have no aspirations. At best.
And you failed.
And I'm failing. At best, if the military takes me, that provides me a different life. At best. Because I didn't have the mentorship, fortunately I was able to pick it up. My son, he has the mentorship, he has the stability, it's not a question whether he's going to college. The question is, what college are you going to go to? Because he has, he makes all A's. I don't think he's made a less than A now. He has the ability. He know he has to do it. This is what I got. And he sees me. He's like, okay, I want to be like this guy.
Right.
And finally, I let him read that book. Probably about a week ago. Because of all the failures, all the dumb stuff I did, I was a little nervous about him reading it. But when he read it, he simply said, "Dad, you a role model." He said he never looked at the negative stuff. He looked at the finished product. He just said, "Dad, I'm super proud of you. You when I see you, I see why everybody gravitates to you. I see why you've been successful, because it ain't where you started from, it's where you finished." That's right.
So how can what's on the horizon? No, talk a little bit about. I know you got all these titles, but talk a little bit about the hospital and your being a veterinarian.
Veterinarian is really cool. I mean, being a veterinarian is it's a dream career. First of all, I'm the boss. It's great being the boss. I own my job. But everything's different. This morning I think I did maybe 10, 12 surgeries. So I'm a surgeon. I had to fix. I'm an ophthalmologist. With these pollen in this grass, I see a lot of allergies, so I'm a dermatologist. My technicians would clean the teeth. They cleaned them up. I had to go in, so I'm a dentist. I repaired a broken bone, so I'm an orthopedist.
Yeah.
So I wear different hats. Being a veterinarian is challenging. A lot of times, it's a challenge because I got to figure it out. When they walk in the door, my job starts, because when that dog walks in the door, I'm watching. Even though I'm talking to the clients, I am watching that dog, because I am watching the walk, I'm watching the demeanor, I'm watching the head tilt, I'm watching how he's looking at me. One eye, I'm already trying to figure out if he's going to be aggressive. So I'm watching those traits. I'm watching if there's a limp. I'm watching if there's demeanor. I'm looking at the paws, if there's some red color, and that usually means he's been licking, so he probably has some kind of allergy. So those are things I'm kind of watching. So you got to be a detective. Unfortunately, that's just, I think that's the calling God gave me. And I'm good at it. I am very good at it. I have learned that. Now I can't do a lot of things, But fixing the dog and making him better, I can do that.
Well, everybody got something that they can do.
Right.
And it's nothing in being confident. So now if one is interested, and I'm not going to ask you to talk about getting more speaking engagement because I know you got all you can do.
Right.
But if one is interested in securing your book, then, how can they do that?
They can go on Amazon. If you go on Amazon, you will see we have all 5 stars, which is really neat. Everybody who's wrote in, it's been all 5 stars. But Amazon.com, they can go to booksamillion.com, they can go to barnesandnoble.com, or they can call my office at 988-0883, and I will give them a signed copy as well. But either way, if they get a copy at Amazon or booksamillion.com, if they get in touch with us at 988-0883, we'll be glad to copy.
Well, I'm hopeful that you will be in town, and we'll talk about it at the Black Pages Expo on the 13th.
Okay.
So there's a possibility that you will be there signing books also. Well, let me say this publicly. Boy, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You've done a phenomenal job. You are serving as an inspiration to young people, and that's what it takes. Because there's a lot of young men out there. Then I want them to know that they can be just like you. Although there may be an indication or there may have been a failure.
Definitely.
But then you can bounce back, bro. Just like Dr. Hodges did, who failed the 9th grade.
Definitely.
And who has written a book from 0 to millions. So you're serving as an inspiration, man, not only to these young people, but to those of us who are in business and the entire community. So I want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
I want to sincerely congratulate you on all that you've done and will continue to do, and express to you, now you're the model. You needed a model, but now you're serving as a model, and I think that's nothing short of phenomenal. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Capish. I'm having interviewed Dr. Vernard Hodges. He's a orthopedist, and he's a dentist, and he's a veterinarian and an author who has done a phenomenal job. Thank you for all you do, man.
Thank you.
Now get that 478-988.
0883.
Amazon.com,
booksamillion.com, and barnesandnoble.com.
You can get yourself a copy of Bet on Yourself. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
Have a great day.